Early summer, I was at a place called Minster Lovel. Minster Lovel is in the Cotswolds, and there's an old derelict house which is shown on the screen there called Minster Lovel. It dates from 1430, this old house. And I was having a picnic there with my wife and children by the river, and I noticed a gang of boys, teenage youths, and one of them was scrambling on the ruins. There were big signs up saying, do not trespass on these ruins. But one guy, a young guy, mid-teens, you can see him there at the apex of the ruin. And I was genuinely worried because if he fell off, he certainly would have done himself an injury, possibly died. And I'm not one of those kind of telling off people, but I wanted to express concern. So I tried to do it in a jocular way. So I didn't know him at all. But I called out from the river where me, my wife, and kids were having a picnic. I said, "Oh, you!" I said, "You ought to be careful. If you fall off there, you'll need a doctor." And then I said, "You're in luck because my wife's a doctor, sat here next to me." Then there was a pause, and I said, "Oh, actually you." I said, "Come to think of it, if you fall off there, you need a priest." And I said, "You're in luck because I'm a priest." And at that point, his mate Michael shouted out, "You won't have any luck. You won't have any luck with him, mate. He's an atheist," he said. And then the guy on the top of the tower, his name was Jules. He said, "Actually, I'm an agnostic." He said. So anyway, I ended up talking to these guys. When he got down, I ended up talking to them. And Jules, who'd been scrambling to the top of the thing, he said, "Go on then." He said, "Convince me." He said, and now, 15-year-old kid. He said, "Go on then. I'm an agnostic. Convince me." So I tried my best teenage apologetics, about how I could convince him. It wasn't cutting any ice. They glazed over. And then I said this. I said, "You say you're an agnostic?" And he said, "Yeah." And I said, "Have you prayed the agnostic's prayer?" And he said, "What's that?" It simply goes like this. "Jules, God, if you exist, make yourself known to me." And he said, "No, I've not prayed that prayer." I said, "Well, how about pray it? You've got nothing to lose." And he said, "Yeah, okay." I said, "What about praying it now?" And so he did. He just prayed. Both boys prayed, "God, if you exist, make yourself known to me." And I said, "Let me just say a prayer for you." So sat on the wall. I just said, "Father, God, reveal yourself to them. Make yourself known to them in whatever way you choose." And at that point, Jules, who was sat on the wall, he interrupted the prayer, actually, before I got to the end. A little bit rude. And he basically said, "What is it?" He said, I feel this tingling. He said, "This tingling in my hands." And he held his hands out like this. He said, "What? It's like a heat in my chest. What is it?" And he kept saying, "What is it?" And I said to him, "What do you think it is?" He said, "Is it God? Is it God?" I said, "Yeah, this is God." I didn't know how he was going to answer the prayer, but I think he is. Anyway, him and his mate, Michael, ended up giving their lives to Christ. And